didn't know that there was sleep regressions.
What kind of nanny were you?
Like, I was a daytime nanny, okay? Like, the days were fine. Our shiz was together, okay?
I got to go home at the end of the
My
day.
nanny mom's texting me, she doesn't sleep through the night. Don't know why. Days are great. Like,
not my problem.
not my problem. Welcome to Girl vs. Girl podcast. I'm Melissa.
I'm Kylie, and this is part 2 of our little mom talk. In this part, we're doing things we wish we knew before we were moms. And go click back to part 1 to see what we talked about then, similar to this one. And yeah, we're gonna get right into it. We're on a time crunch. We talk about all of that in part 1, but we're on a time crunch, so we're gonna get straight into it.
Part 1 we really went in.
Yeah, it was
a lot more. This is gonna be like not that much.
Yeah, this will be a shorter episode.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Them all, just both in one sitting.
Yeah, if you skipped a week, this is your week to catch up.
Yeah. Okay. So things I wish I knew before becoming a mom. This is kind of like half advice, half like what I wish I knew.
Yeah. It's not meant to be advice, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number one thing, and I will die on this hill, let dad struggle. I don't care. I'm the most OCD over-controlling person ever, and I know you're super controlling too. Let that man struggle, because if not, you will have screwed yourself. There's no other way to put it. Like, I know your skin is on fire listening to that baby cry, and like it sucks for the baby to like have to figure it out, but you had to figure it out with your baby. You have to let the dad figure it out with the baby in his own way. Like, obviously you need to be on the same page with like how you do certain things, like bedtime routine, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, let that man struggle, because also that will create such a good bond with the dad and the baby to like let them figure it out together. I'll die on that hill. Let the dad struggle.
You want me to do my first point?
Yeah.
My point that I can kind of go along with that and talk about that with is I don't think that I probably did that nearly as much as I should. Chris cannot do anything in the middle of the night. He can't.
Yeah.
He just can't. And so I feel like he probably should have struggled more. I probably should have let him struggle more. But then my point of it, which Chris did. Chris can do some stuff, but the nighttime he can't do. My bullet point that goes along with that is that dad can only do so much.
Yeah.
Which, like, for us in the middle of the night, right now, well, number one, Coast and Booker, but Coast is my baby. Coast will only breastfeed. We tried a bottle, will not take bottle. We've tried it multiple times. Probably could get him to take a bottle if he had to, obviously, who would figure it out, but he doesn't take a bottle. So night times are basically on me. Right now, we're trying to get him to sleep through the night, and I'm going in there twice and feeding him, and it's just simple as that. Like, Chris can't feed him in the middle of the night, so he's getting to sleep through the night, and I have to go in and feed him, and that's just how it is. Like,
it's almost unavoidable though, because of our different birthing experiences, it's like Jake had to do stuff. He didn't have a choice. Right. I couldn't physically do it. Yeah. So I think that I think that had I been better off physically, I would have been so much more controlling, and I probably would be in the same boat of I didn't let him struggle as much as I should have. So, you literally blessing in disguise, I had to let him struggle, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah. And that is, like, not to say that Chris did not help in the night. Like, when Coast was a baby, like, Chris was up every single time I was up. Just now at this point, like, there's just not much he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a nanny for years and years and years and years, all different ages. Didn't know that there was sleep regressions.
What kind of nanny were you?
Like, I was a daytime nanny, okay? Like, the days were fine. Our shiz was together, okay?
I got to go home at the end of the day.
My nanny mom's texting me, she doesn't sleep through the night. Don't know why. Days are great. Like,
not my problem.
Not my problem. Didn't know there were sleep regressions. Didn't know that the 4-month sleep regression would
rock your world.
Literally curb stomp me. And still is. Yeah. 3 months later.
Yeah.
Didn't know that, like, if you don't literally get on top of a sleep regression, that they'll keep the bad habits from it. And
the 4-month sleep regression is wild too.
That one hits you the hardest, and that it will bleed into a different sleep regression, and like you like basically like nip that crap in the butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
My next point, I guess, kind of goes along with the last thing, but is just breastfeeding. baby refusing to latch, nursing strikes, learning how to do that whole thing. Overall, I'd say it has been easy for us. Not to say that breastfeeding is easy, but I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like we've had it.
As far as breastfeeding goes.
Yeah, like I feel like we've had it pretty easy. Not any like major issues or anything like that. But with that being said, it's still quite the thing to...
I thought you'd just pop the Yeti in his mouth and then you'd be good to go.
Yeah, it's quite the thing. And I feel like at this point, knock on wood, he could go through a whole nother thing, obviously. But I feel like at this point, like, we've probably got it down pretty good.
Yeah.
But in, like, that 1 to 4 months or whatever.
Well, now he has a tooth, so let me know how that's going in about a week.
Yeah. I can already let you know how it's going. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, that, like, first 4 months or whatever, I feel like was tough. And there's still things that are hard about it, obviously. But that first little bit is... rough. And not like every day rough, but like you'll just have like, okay, for some reason this kid just isn't gonna nurse for this entire next week, and
I cannot with a nursing strike.
I'm gonna have to be standing, bouncing, shushing, nursing, on one foot, patting my head at the same time to keep this
when we had our little Christmas girl day and we did our like burr baskets or whatever, and you're like, oh, he's not nursing, and I'm thinking, oh, this sucks, like, you know what, you stand up, start nursing him standing and bouncing, I go
I know.
What?
I've done that in front of some other friends too, and they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, gotta do what you have to do.
Yeah.
This is the only way he's going to nurse. Yeah.
I feel like we went through a nursing strike together, and it was like the most, you're like, just eat. Like,
no, and they're like screaming they're hungry, but they won't eat for whatever reason. Yeah.
No, Booker did like a little, I told you, like a little refusal the first 2 times or whatever the other night.
Yeah.
And I told Jake, I was like, check me into a mental hospital because I'm not doing this again. I was looking at him like,
pull out those bottles because I don't know if we're going to make it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. This is so stupid because I was a nanny for years. Had a crib transfer because I never had a problem laying a baby down in the crib. I don't know. Also never had my own child who wanted to be held by me.
Yeah.
So that's crib transferring your own baby, nightmare.
Yeah.
You have to have the perfect, like the secret sauce.
The wrist has to be just at the right angle.
Yeah. You have to have your hand on the back of the neck, not around, or else you're screwed. Like you have to be like, and you have to put the legs down first.
Yeah.
And it's like, can't drop them down too fast. You have to go at exactly like a 45-degree, like.
And that is the part where you need to let the dad struggle.
Yeah. Jake goes, how do you lay him down? Dude, sometimes, even now at 7 months
old. And you give you a 10 bullet point list of the other day,
Jake was like, I like had to go. And Jake was like, I have to poop. And I go, what does that have to do with me? Can you hold the baby while I poop? And I don't, sorry if I'm a bitch, but I say no. Yeah. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Figure it out.
Yeah, let him play on the floor.
Yeah, he figures it out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if it's like a guy-to-guy thing because Booker's a boy, but he's like, I don't want him like... I'm naked. And I'm like...
Chris will take him in there. I think it's bonding time for him.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
My turn?
Yeah. I have like 3 more.
I'm going to loop 2 of mine together.
Okay.
The kind of hard that it is. For me, I don't feel like I was super prepared, and I knew I wasn't super prepared to become a mom when I became a mom. I was never a nanny. I had babysat before for sure, but I wasn't the babysitter that babysat all the time. I didn't have any little cousins I grew up with, nothing like that. Anyways, but I was ready for a crying baby. I, as much as I could, felt like I had my mind prepared for it. Not saying that I felt like I was prepared, just saying the amount of preparation I could have done, I felt like I did. And you just don't know. And I feel like you could even say this even being a nanny. I feel like you'll agree. It's just so different when you're in it because it is literally 25/8. You do not get a break. I tell people,
you don't clock out ever.
Ever.
Even if you leave your baby with the dad and you go you're not clocked out.
No. And even if you do, it's okay, 2 hours tops is what you're going to get. Yeah. It's just...
Not to be ungrateful, we have really great husbands, but...
No, and that's not even, my point of what I'm saying. My point is just that it's, literally nonstop. Mm-hmm. And if you had to take care of like a baby that's fussing for a few hours, easy. For a day, easy.
Because you can tell yourself in your mind, I clock out and I go home at 6 p.m.
Even for a week.
Yeah.
Even if you were taking care of a baby for a week, okay, you
know
can
that
do it for a week.
Sight.
This is like, there's literally no end in sight. 18 years.
It's for life, yeah.
It's for life.
Like, if it's not crying at 2 a.m., it's going to be...
a phone call at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's always going to be something.
Obviously, hopefully it'll get easier in that way, but it is literally 25/8.
Yeah.
It's anytime in the middle of the night, forever, for the last 7 months. On call. Literally nonstop. Yeah. And if you are only breastfeeding, I literally, even if I want to leave, can only leave for like 2 hours.
Right.
Tops. Which isn't even the problem. The problem isn't that I need 2 hours. The problem is that I need like a week.
A day. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
well, we've talked about that too. It's like, no matter what phase of parent, like we have friends that like have older kids, and it's like, no matter what phase of parenting you're in, it's always gonna be hard. It's just you're trading like your old hard for your new hard.
Yeah,
like
totally.
It's not for the weak, but that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being a parent makes you a lot stronger, and you have to be able to buck up
or roll with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just feel like it's like, if you only had to do it for a couple of hours, it wouldn't be hard. Yeah. It's like all the time.
And I would say with that, like being a nanny, I feel like I did think I was extremely prepared. Jake and I, between the two of us, have 8 nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Of all age ranges. It's like the oldest one's 19. Mm-hmm. You know, like Jake's been an uncle since he was 4. Like it's just
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I was not prepared for. I thought, I've done it for 9 hours a day. I can do it for 24. No.
Yeah.
Because how badly do you just, and this sounds bad, and like if you're a mom, you know what we mean when we say this. Some days you wake up and you're like, I love my child. There's nothing I would rather do than be this child's mom, but I don't want to be a mom today.
Yeah.
I still want to be my baby's mom, but not a mom.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a dad today.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Driving your car by yourself.
Oh, the drive there and back. You could listen to your music.
As loud as you want.
Lunchtime. Yeah. Bathroom breaks. Dude, sounds like Disneyland. What do you mean? Get ready in the morning uninterrupted?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of husband resentment. Do not feel bad if you resent your husband. Maybe don't tell him that you resent him. I think Jake and I are very honest because we've known each other since we were 9 years old and been friends that long. And this is something I always say, like sometimes when Jake and I are like irritated with each other, we don't ever say that we fight. We say that we like argue. Mm-hmm. But I think that I told you this time before. It's like sometimes I forget that we're like, I don't even know how to like phrase it.
Like in a relationship and not in a friendship?
Yeah, because we were friends for 10 years before it was anything like truly romantic. So it's like sometimes when we're angry at each other, I think we revert back to being friends.
And you're like too mean almost?
Yeah, like not almost too mean, but like kind of. And like not too honest, but like I could say something. If I wanted to criticize you, I would say it to you a lot different than I would say it to Jake. Or I would say it to my husband. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think that Jake and I get it blurred between like friendship and marriage. And we'll like act like we're talking to our best friend at 16. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, I probably should have said that differently.
Yeah.
And so there's, like I said, him and I are very honest. And I've told him very many times, it's not your fault, but I resent you. Like I can't even look at your face right now because it's so unfair.
Yeah. And
that sucks to hear, I'm sure. But honestly, that's the truth. And like it's better to just air it out and get past it. But don't feel bad if you resent your husband. Maybe don't tell him that. But
I think it's okay to tell him that. Because I think that then they can
understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Where it's like husbands like don't, like I think for a while they have to adjust to like my wife is not just my wife anymore. She's also a mom. Mm-hmm. And like that's a much bigger change going from a wife to a mom than going from a husband to a dad.
Right. So
understanding that change and being patient with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever is so important because like the rage of like this is so unfair and there's nothing that anyone can do to make it more fair. Mm-hmm. Ugh. I have resented Jake many, many times, not to any fault of his own, but
yeah, well, it's just how it is though. He doesn't have to go through all of the same things.
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember telling him one time, I said, how lucky are you to just have to watch the suffering? You don't actually have to go through it. Mm-hmm. And it was like, yeah, but I mean, obviously he's suffering in his own way, but
Not the same, though.
Not the same. Like, it's hard for me, too. I'm like, oh.
I've literally told Chris when Coast is waking up, like, lots in the middle of the night, and I'm, like, so exhausted. And he's so sweet, but he'll just say something like, it's okay. Like, you gotta just get through. It's not okay. I'm losing my mind. And I go, you say that one more time, Chris? You are going to be getting up with me. I'm going to make you fill up a 15-pound bowl filled to the brim with water, and you're going to have to pick that thing up without spilling any water. Go sit down and hold it in front of you like this for 15 minutes while I'm nursing. This full bowl of water, hold completely still in the dark with this bowl of water. And if you move, you're going to be wet and your entire night's going to be ruined. The same thing if I'm sitting there with Coast
such a good comparison.
And I set him down too roughly and I spill the water, the timer resets.
No, they just do not.
It's never come to that, but if he ever says that, I'm like, you want to get up with a bowl of water?
Yeah, we'll do it.
And hold it. You're not allowed to take this bowl of water and like set it in between your legs nicely. No. Hold it like this in an awkward position. And then also at the same time, I'm going to pick something really physically annoying. Like maybe someone coming up to you and
like flicking you in the face.
Yeah, tapping your forehead for like 15 minutes.
Mildly uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like you can handle it, but also like all of it at the same time in the middle of the night, multiple times for months and months and months and months and months.
Dude, there's nothing worse than like you're nursing at night and you're like, your brain just decides I'm done. Your baby's not done. And you just sit there the whole time. You're like,
yeah.
Oh, stop. Be done.
Like, this actually doesn't hurt, but I'm thinking about it a little bit too hard, and it's starting to feel like nails on a chalkboard a little bit.
You get sensory
overload. It was fine 1 minute ago.
You can do because if you stop them, you're just
reset the timer.
And then you tell yourself, you're like, you have to be patient. Or like when you're waiting for them to be asleep enough to lay them down, and you're just like,
and then you
do it. Is it time? Is it time?
And then you do it a little too early.
Yeah, 30 seconds too early, and you're like. This is why
last 30 minutes of my life are a waste.
Yeah, this is why insane asylums exist. For mothers who check themselves in for a vacation. A grippy sock vacation, you say? Sign me up.
I told Chris the other
day.
I'm
doing everything for me?
I'm like, when this kid turns once a month I'm going and getting a hotel room.
Count me in.
We'll get one together. Okay. We'll have a little rot sesh.
I love it. Oh, yeah. I'll be showing up with a gallon of self-tanner and a 12-pack of Dr. P for one night. Crack me a cold one.
You have it in the fridge. You take it on your way out. Jake goes, are you going to share with Kylie?
No. What do you mean? Why would I?
Is it my turn or your turn?
I think it's your turn.
Okay, I think this is my last one.
Oh, really? I have two more.
Well, that's okay. I'll do mine and then you can do two more. I've looped a lot of mine together.
Okay.
My last one is the nighttime scaries, which I think a lot of people have with new babies in different ways.
I need to take like a CBD gummy before bedtime or something because the way that my blood starts boiling when the clock hits like 6:30 and you have to go upstairs and do a bath. I'm
sorry. You need some of that magnesium.
Magnesium. Rub it on me. Yeah.
The nighttime scaries. I had this for, I don't know, definitely the first handful of weeks with a newborn. And basically how it was for me, you good?
I hit it. And that's like resting on my boob. I can't fix it.
Just pull it up more than what you think you need to, and then it kind of like lowers.
Like kind of fall.
Right? Are we good?
We're good. We're good.
Where was I?
Not Sunday scaries. Well.
Nighttime scaries.
That too. Feels appropriate.
I had this for like the first few weeks, and for me it was just like at about 7:00 every night, your hormones are going crazy, and I would start crying, and it was just because I was so scared for the night to come.
Because it's so bad.
Because it was it's just so bad, yeah. And actually, it wasn't even that bad, but I just needed the sleep so bad, and like you just don't get it. And I think different moms have this for different reasons. Like I think all new moms have a bit of anxiety, but I don't think I ever had like postpartum anxiety. I think some moms, this is more like they get scared like something's gonna happen to their baby in the night, and like it wasn't really like that for me. I was mildly like a little bit nervous, like for a baby to sleep and like his physical like well-being, but it was more of just like, I'm just like losing my mind so hard right now. Like
sleep deprivation's no joke.
Yeah, the next 12 hours from 7 to 7 are just not fun, and I just wish that the day could keep going, because I just don't want the night to start. Does that make sense?
When you said it before, like, there's nothing worse than being tortured all night and then waking up
and just having to like start
you
it all
wake
over
up
again.
Exhausted, you wake up not ready to be a mom, and you have to do it anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like that even now, if we have like a sleep regression or something, that there's like a handful of months of bad sleep, but I think at the beginning it's different because you've got like these hormones, like at this point, I'm sure
you can't rationalize.
Yeah, and I'm sure at this point like our hormones are still a little bit off, but like way different than they are like 10 days postpartum or whatever. I feel like your hormones are just crazy. I like we said in the last episode, was in labor for 50 plus hours, and another night before that I was sick because I was leading up to it. Anyways, I hadn't slept for like 3 or 4 days before I was losing my mind.
You didn't go into labor with like a good
good
night's rest.
No. Yeah. So I think I still feel like that, but I wouldn't call it like, feel like I still feel like that if Coast is not sleeping well, but it's not like the nighttime scaries like it was. It was almost like on the dot, 7 o'clock would roll around, and even if I was, even if I felt like I was good and like I was gonna do it or whatever, it's like I just couldn't help myself but like start crying, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
That was me last night when I put Booker to sleep at 7:30 and I hear him crying, and I look at the clock and it's 8, and I literally started crying. I was like, I can't do it. And Jake's like, that's a problem because it's 30 minutes into the night.
That's a problem because we've got 12 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, and Booker does not let Jake touch him. Yeah. No, I agree. Like we got like that Ring camera I told you about.
Oh, someone at your door.
I get a notification, motion detected. I'm like, who is it? Let me see.
Your neighbor or something, probably.
Oh, I woke Jake up the other night at 1:21 a.m. A person with a backpack and a hood walked by our front door, and I literally was like, call the police. We live in probably the safest area of our town.
Also, like the most
super like nice and
like very popular.
Very popular.
There's definitely like just people around.
Yeah. And then we see him the next day. It's our neighbor. He works night shifts. I have to call the cops on him.
He's a hash-slinging slasher.
That's what I thought. No, honestly though, on the topic of anxiety, your girl got hit hard with postpartum anxiety, and like you were saying, like you weren't necessarily afraid for Coast, like obviously an appropriate amount, but like the way that I would stay up at night,
you still are.
I would Snapchat you 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and I would be like in my bed, like staring at the dark ceiling, being like, okay, if someone broke into the house, this is what I would do. What would I grab first? I'd grab the baby, and then I'd grab the gun, and then this, and then that. Or like, if there was a fire, what would I do? I would need to like that's just running rampant in my head. That was a lot of why I didn't get sleep.
I bet that's what it's like being a male. Because Chris,
that's true. That's how Jake's brain works.
That's how Chris's brain works. He'll say all the time to me, I'll be like, "What would you do if X, Y, and Z happens?" He's like, "All right,
let's sit down and get into it." He already knows.
Yeah, I already know.
Oh yeah.
Or even like, remember a few weeks or even a month ago when that lady like backed into Chris and Coast in the parking lot? Chris and Coast were walking, Coast in his stroller, and this lady almost backed in them. Chris had to like hit his hood, and I was like, aren't you mad? Like, shouldn't you like say something to them or whatever? Like, I don't know, like Chris was just so like, okay, let's just keep it moving, whatever. I'm like, calm. Like, don't you think like you should like say something or like holler at them or whatever? And Chris goes, you know, Kylie, it would not do any good to walk up to them and yell at them. Number one, it's not going to change the situation. And number two, if you walk up to someone like that and
they have a gun,
and they're going to meet you harder than what you're just going to walk up to them and
that's true.
Say something obnoxious to them, and then they're going to get out of their car and cause a much bigger issue than what it is. That's true. Where in my head, I'm like, not that I would actually go up to them and say anything because I'm
but your mom rage
shy, but I'm like,
kind of makes you,
I'm like, should you like, shouldn't you like go over and like yell at them like that they just almost backed into like a baby like in a parking lot,
teach them
like,
their lesson,
pay attention. And Chris is like, no, because it's not going to change anything.
It's not worth it. Coast is fine, and
there's something much worse that probably wouldn't, but could happen. Like, and he already thought that, like, as the car's backing up, and like, he's already.
That's how men and women are just different because
I'm 5 feet back.
I'm overcome with my emotions of like rage of like the way my hand's too quick to flip a bird. I need to get that under control.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing too that like Jake, when we first were married, we lived in a different town that's a much like slower paced town, much smaller. And he was so quick to honk the horn. And like I used to always be the person that was like, how rude, whatever, and not think anything of it. But then after being with him, where like, when you're with your partner, your brain shuts off because you just don't even have to think. All I worry about is Booker, and Jake. I know Jake's gonna take care of the rest. But to see him do that like made me think. I was like, oh my gosh, what if they stop the car and they get out, and it's like, especially now having a baby in the back, I have like we've made an agreement. He's not allowed to honk at people. I'm like, just let it go.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it is a good thing because you don't think about that because women are more emotional.
Yeah. Chris also just always tells me, he's like, when I tell you to do something and we're in public, Kylie, I need you to just do it.
Yeah, Jake's the same way.
And he's like, whenever I tell you to do something, you just say, why? And he's like, when I tell you to step onto this side of the sidewalk, you need to just do it. And not say, why?
Yeah.
Kylie and I are very... have to tell me why, because I'm not just following.
Yeah, we are very hard-headed, stubborn, spicy women. We're not going to just follow suit.
Listen to a man for no reason.
I keep telling Jake, I said, you need to change your tone, because he'll go get on the other side.
He's trying to protect you at all costs. You're all, can you use a different tone with me?
No, he'll be like,
there's a predator.
Yeah, he's like, hey, get on the other side of me. And I'm like,
why?
Literally, oh my God. And I'm like, and he's like, get on the other side of me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Change your tone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're just being bossy, and I'm gonna fight you back. Yeah. Because
I'm not that kind of wife.
Given fight or flight, I fight. Yeah. Okay. We're doing decent on time.
We need to wrap it up. You have another one, right?
I can just have one more I can cut out. My last.
Okay. We'll loop them together.
Yeah. On the topic of everything we've talked about literally ever, I think other than your physical sacrifice as a mom, your biggest sacrifice will be sleep. Because, shocker, you have to teach a baby how to sleep. They don't just come out knowing how.
Yeah.
And you have to teach them. You are constantly having to reteach them how to sleep because a sleep regression will happen, or they'll get sick, or you'll go camping and they need a reset, or like literally until they're probably 2 or 3, you are teaching them how to sleep.
I can tell you're getting nervous for your camping trip.
Dude.
Like, why would she mention camping? Oh, wait, there's a camping trip coming up.
My dad, if we get a trailer, will you go camping with us? Sure. We can have the master bedroom, like with the pack and play. I'm thinking this is going to be great. He gets the trailer and tells me, okay, Father's Day weekend, which is quite literally 3 months from now. The way that I had a panic attack.
Why?
Jake's like, it'll be fine. I'm like, what if it isn't?
Because you just don't know what life's
I just don't know what life's going to look like.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it is so easy as a parent to go.
Do they have a trailer?
Yeah, they just bought one.
Oh, they just bought one.
Mm-hmm. Jake and him are going to pick it up tomorrow.
Nice, that's fun.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because we used to camp at the beach as kids, and like it was gonna be so fun for Booker to have that. But also now I know why my mom was such in a bad mood when we were camping.
I feel like just sharing a trailer would stress me out.
That doesn't stress me out. If he keeps you up, he keeps you up. That's your problem. Go sleep in a tent outside.
I know, but not even like if he keeps you up, but like what if they keep him up or something? Or
then they'll be sleeping on a tent outside.
Okay.
The way that my parents and I have a very
strict.
Yeah, my parents and I are very candid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just the Italian side of us, but like, if my dad was snoring too loud, I would seriously walk up,
go sleep in the truck,
knife to his throat, shut your mouth, or go sleep in the truck.
Yeah.
You wake my kid up, we will have problems.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not shy, you know?
Yeah.
My mom's flipping around too much, I go, pick a side and get comfy, because I swear I'll duct tape you like that.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. It'll be good.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And he'll be better in 3 months.
I said that 3 months ago, but
I know, but even if he's not, like, you'll just be that much
it'll just be what it is.
Used to it. Yeah.
That's what Jake and I were saying today. We're like, I just feel like this is our normal.
Yeah.
Which is pretty pathetic, but also
it is what it is.
It is what it is. There's literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
We've exhausted almost all of our options.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyways,
do you have anything else, or is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Actually, we do have a little bit of time. I put something on my. I feel like I didn't run this by you, and I'm feeling kind of bad.
We absolutely do not have any time.
We have 3 minutes, Kylie.
Okay.
I put on our story, what's something you've pretended to like/be into for a boy?
Oh, I saw that.
And we got a handful of responses.
Ooh, did we?
Yeah, and I feel like it's enough. It's small enough that like I could read them and it'd be funny.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's literally 3 responses.
Well, yeah, this is so much fun. A surprise for me.
Okay. The first one. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Agreed. Spoiler alert, I'm the one who said that.
Nuh-uh. For Jake?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Jake does like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, but like...
Liking Star Wars and like being into Lord of the Rings or whatever, fine. Liking it enough that your girlfriend has to pretend to like it? You like it a little bit too much for
me. Yeah. Like, I'll tell Jake, he'll go, do you want to watch it with me? Couldn't think of anything more miserable. I'll go light myself on fire instead. Yeah. Like, no. But...
Did I Snapchat you the show that Chris was watching the other day?
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know what it was.
What is happening?
Like medieval knights fighting on the TV. I'm like,
you're like, love being the only girl.
Love being the only girl in this house.
Yes. For sure relate to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, the second one was the earth being flat.
Wait, what is this? Things that we wish we...
No, things that we... What's something that you've pretended to like/be into for a boy? The earth being flat. And can I show you who said that? Because you're going to die.
Like I already know. I think you do.
Know. Oh. I want to know who the boy is so bad. You have to tell me after. I know you know. You have to tell me after.
Should I tell you right now? I'll tell you after.
Yeah, just tell me later. I really hope it's who I think it is.
Probably is, but who knows?
Okay, anyway. Third and final one.
That last one is just funny.
I know. This one's pretty universal. Football.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
No,
I'll watch basketball. I'll watch baseball. Football.
Football's the worst, right?
I'm sorry. It's pointless.
Why
what
is
are you
it so
doing?
complicated?
It's so complicated. Jake keeps telling me if you really watched a game, you'd get it. And I'd say,
no,
I don't think that I would.
No.
It's too complex.
I don't know that they even get it.
No. I think they just pretend.
I think they're faking.
Yeah, I think it's just a reason to drink beer. And Jake doesn't even drink. So why are you watching? Why do we have to watch the Super Bowl? Like,
Chris the other day, what was it? Oh, he was watching a race car thing on the TV. And what it was he was watching some kind of a drone video. It was a drone filming this race car. So that's why he was watching it. But I go, the only thing that I know nothing about race cars or anything except for that Jake, Melissa's husband, likes F1. That's what
Formula
it's called,
1,
right?
Yeah. And I'm actually pretty into it too.
He's watching it, and I go, are you watching F45? Chris goes, that's the gym in town, Kylie. But yes, this is F1.
No, you should tell it to Jake because I think it's... Dude, yesterday Jake goes, if you haven't watched this weekend, what is the date today? March 24th. If you haven't watched this weekend's race, fast forward. Spoiler. He was saying that Albon, I think it's Albon, however you say it, is on the same team as Sargent.
No one that's listening watches.
I know.
F1.
They're on the team of Williams Racing. And he goes, oh, Alex Albon or whatever. He's going to crucify me for saying it wrong. But crashed and whatnot. One of them crashed the car. And so the other teammate was like the better one. So he raced in the other person's car.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Let's just, I don't know which one's which with the names, so let's just say teammate A and teammate B. Teammate A is the better driver, but crashed his car.
So he took teammate
And they
B.
each have, there's 2 people per team, and they each have the same car. So he drove the other person's car, and the other person sat out, which was really controversial. And so he goes, yeah, so his, teammate, he drove his teammate's car, and he sat out, and I go, oh, Logan Sargent. And he's like, what? And I was like, Sargent. And he's like, how do you know that? I was like, he's the other team member on Williams Racing? What do you mean? And he's like, swear? He's like, Bible right now, swear to me that, you didn't just look that up or something. He's like, you just know that? I'm like, I'm sorry. This consumes 90% of the conversations that we have. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. And he was like, oh. He was into it.
This has nothing to do with any of this, but maybe the next time we record, although at that point it'll be old news, so we probably won't. But I feel like I just need to mention it. Have you been watching the Quiet on Set documentary?
I haven't watched the whole thing because I'm not willing to ruin my childhood, but it's pretty much ruined. Yeah.
I have one episode left. So I don't know that I can
stomach it, to be honest.
Oh, you're such a wimp.
I am. I get nightmares, Kylie. I am not strong when it comes to stuff like that. I can't see it because then I'll never unsee it.
I love the drama.
I love the drama too. I think I know what I need to know from TikTok. And honestly, it may or may not be old news, but maybe we should do a little deep dive because
we might have to. We'll have to see
our next episode
if it's still relevant.
Because that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, we're totally fine talking about controversial things. And I think it keeps it more interesting.
Like that's really controversial, though. I think everyone is on the same page.
I think so too, but also
it's just crazy.
I
mean, it is controversial, but it's not like actually controversial.
No, we should talk about it because also I think if we talked about it right now, a lot of people haven't watched it. It's so new that we might be spoiling.
Yeah, that's probably
I think
true.
Next week's Easter, and I think by the next week, it will be almost old news, but not old enough to where we can't talk about it, but old enough to where everyone will have watched it, who's going to watch it, and we won't be spoiling anything.
Yeah, we can't do a whole episode on it. We'll just have to talk about it.
No, but we can touch on it like the last 20 minutes or something. Yeah.
Okay. Do we know what our next episode is?
I had a suggestion. I think we agreed on it. Do you want me to say it out loud or no?
Maybe no. Let's see.
Maybe not. I think we're pretty top one. I think we're pretty set on it. We talked about it, unless that's what you not want to do.
I don't care. I don't feel like we're going to be able to talk about that one for very long.
Okay. That one's not very time consuming, so maybe we
lump that in with something else.
We could lump it in with Quiet on Set.
Okay. I mean, yeah. And those two
see if it vibes.
Kind of go together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about it. But yeah, that sounds good. Okay. We're not going to share what we're doing next because we're not sure yet. But stay tuned for talking about Quiet on Set at some point. Yeah. And let us know. Oh, also, we've been talking about doing anonymous submissions. Yeah. We have to figure out how to do that. We're going to... We both said we were going to look into this and neither of us did, I don't think. We're going to figure out how to have a link to do anonymous submissions. Where it's truly anonymous. Where it's completely anonymous. We don't even know. Yeah, we don't know who's writing in. Yeah. Whatever. For all kinds of different things. We want to do Am I the Asshole with it. We want to do advice column with it. We want to do all kinds of stuff with it. Well, there's even some things that I post on our story of like that questions. Even. Yeah, where it's like, what's the most embarrassing thing you've happened on a date? Totally. Or like, and like some of that, I think some of y'all don't care. But I think some stories you guys probably want to be anonymous, and maybe it'll make you want to share it more. Yes. So we want to have that like safety blanket for you to be able to share your crazy stories. Yes. So maybe by the time this comes out, we'll have it figured out. Maybe not also. Check the link in our bio. If it's there, that means we were doing very good. If it's not there, pray for us. But we're not keep an eye on our Instagram story because I'll be posting not like dishing out your entire life, but like mild questions where you can like what's something you've been into, pretend to be into for a boy, like that's mild. Stuff like that. Okay, that's it. Listen to part 1 of this if you haven't already. This is coming out the week after, so if you're listening to this, part 1 is already out. Let us know if you like it. I put up a question box a couple weeks ago. We did get a lot of like what kind of content people would want to see, and there was like 4 or 5 people that said they wanted to see like mom stuff. Okay. So I feel that's when we kind of were like, let's do Mom Talk monthly-ish. Yeah, we're going to try and do it like monthly-ish. We'll see, because we're going to do 2 in a row, because that's what's happening this week. So if there's any kind of Mom Talk you want to see, I don't think either one of us feel like anything's really off limits. We'll talk about anything. Yeah, I'll talk about anything. I literally just told you guys that Jake wiped my butt, so. That was in the last episode, I think. Oh, well, spoiler, Jake wiped my butt. I think that was in the last episode. I guess I don't know. Anyways, watch part 1 if you haven't already, and have a happy Easter. Have a happy Easter. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be out before? Yeah, this will be out a couple days before Easter. No, it won't, because this is part 2. Hope that you had a good Easter. Should have said that in the last episode. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What can you do? Anyways, stay tuned for next week. We don't know what we're doing. Whatever the topic will be, it'll a loose topic. Let us sharing half the spotlight with Quiet on Set. Yeah, our thoughts. Let us know if you have any other episode ideas. Also, Mom Talk or otherwise. Clearly, we can just talk about absolutely anything. That's Kylie and I's life skill. Truly, I could pick a topic out of a hat and keep you entertained for an hour and know nothing about it. Have you seen? We're just not sure. Anyway, what time is it? Let me say this really quick. Okay. Have you seen that TikTok? I think it was a TikTok. Maybe we already sent it to you. It was something like if you had to talk about one thing, if you had to gossip about one thing for 24 hours and win like $1 million or something like that with one person, what would you talk about? And the girl was like, literally tell me anything, and me and my bestie will beat that like a dead horse. We will go over and over and over and over discuss every intricate detail of it. I'm like, if that's not us.
Or like that, like, where the TikToks where it's like, anyway, she came and like said this to me, and I was sitting at my desk, and they're like, were you sitting at your desk facing me? So you were minding your own business. And she's like, I was minding my own business. Girl, we are very detail oriented.
Very detail.
Okay, now we really have to wrap
Okay, we gotta go.
Okay.
Stay tuned for next week's episode. Let us know any other episode ideas.
Yeah.
And hope you have
check out our social media.
Yes. All the good things.
Okay,
bye.